Hold still. This isn't going to hurt.
Now, back to Canton's Morning News on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Well, we always talk about using your phone for good. Well, maybe it's not helping you all that much when you're at work or as much as you think. And that's why on our WHBC Newsline right now, we bring in business coach Shontaye Hawkins. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, except that I do keep getting distracted by my phone at work. So
do you have it out right now, Pam?
Absolutely, I do.
During our interview, you have the phone out, so you're distracted totally right now.
Well, you think about it, especially for us in radio, we use our phone constantly to look up information, to check our emails. I mean, so what do we do?
We just, ignore it. No, just kidding. Actually, one of the things is that we're disconnected altogether. When we're home, we're looking at our phones. We're checking in on things with work. When we're at work, we're checking on our families to make sure everything's okay. And then with summer, right now, the kids are home from school, and so they're constantly asking, can I? And also, telling on their brothers and sisters about what's happening. So we just have to really try to adapt the best way we can, especially when we're at the office. We just have to let our friends, our families know if it's an emergency, call me on the phone. Just to text me and say, is it okay if we watch, cartoons? I mean, yes, what you can and can't do. So some of those text messages they're just not necessary.
So, right, and that makes sense. On the other hand, that's become a part of our fabric of life. Watching TV has been a problem since the 60s, I guess, maybe even earlier than that it's a distraction, and that's technology of its day, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we totally have had this emergence and continuing to emerge and evolve with technology and how everything is so instantaneous, right? The text message comes through and it's like we're programmed to read it right then and there. It's not later. We can look at it later. It's when it buzzes or it beeps. Even if the phone just lights up, we're looking at it to check in. And we're checking it throughout the day constantly, checking in our family, checking in to see what's going on. And it's also preventing us from getting our work done at the office.
And again, we are talking to business coach Shontaye Hawkins. When the whole smartphone thing came out, I always was against my staff or me even bringing a cell phone into a meeting. That to me was disrespectful and distracting. But now there is no thought about it. Everybody brings their cell phone into a meeting.
You're absolutely right. It's just almost as if it's an extension of your hand, honestly. Mm-hmm. You go to bed, it's there. You wake up, it's there. You go to dinner, it's there. It's really, I don't know how we actually have real life conversations anymore sometimes, because I see individuals, I'm sure you guys do as well, at dinner, even in the grocery store, I see people walking through the parking lot with their looking down at their cell phones. I'm not sure how people aren't falling and hurting themselves, because they are so connected to the cell phone and they're not aware of what's going on around them.
Okay, how ironic is this, though? Right now, as you and I are speaking, there are hundreds of people listening to this conversation while also trying to have a conversation with their spouse. Right?
Right.
So
they're listening and they're also talking. They're having two conversations.
Multitasking, yes. So what do we do? What do we do with all this? Do we still allow employees to take phones into meetings? I mean, what do you think the rules should be?
I think, first of all, it's an organization by organization initiative, and I do believe that, for meetings, there should be some hard and fast rules about how cell phones are even used, if at all, in a meeting. I think that, honestly, they shouldn't even come into a meeting because it's a distraction, and it takes away from the flow of the meeting when your phone is beeping or buzzing, etc. I think companies have to look for ways to say, during work hours, we expect you to be here getting your job done. But if we keep, if we're continuously coming through the office and you have your head down because you're texting or you're checking, you're looking on the internet, you're seeing what's going on in the world, that's a problem because projects are getting stacked up and we're missing deadlines. And so I think when those kinds of things begin to happen, then companies have to begin to say, look, this is how, I think we're going to go to a point in which companies say put the cell phones away when you're coming into the office.
Wow, that'll be very interesting. Shontaye Hawkins, business coach. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pam Cook and Gary Rivers. We live you too. Canton's Morning News. News Talk 1480 WHBC and at WHBC.com.